Before you try another ashwagandha supplement, purchase an infrared sauna, or book another wellness retreat to Sedona, there's something you need to understand about your nervous system first. Well, the best news ever is that nervous system regulation and support are trending with all sorts of providers, parents, and even other experts talking about ways to hack your nervous system. But like most hacks, they only go surface level and rarely get deep enough to truly help and heal and repair most people's nervous systems. So we are the biggest fans of nervous system regulation, functional medicine, supplementation, detox programs, diet changes, and fitness programs. But the number one thing patients tell us is, I've tried everything and none of it seems to be working. And so the brain fog, the anxiety, the exhaustion persists for those parents, and the sleep issues, the sensory challenges, behavioral problems stay stuck in a loop for far too many kids. So here's what most parents and even other providers don't yet realize. You can't regulate a nervous system that needs to be repaired first. Until we dive deep and repair that foundational problem, everything else ends up just as a surface level band-aids that actually peel off and don't get the job done. So this video is for parents who are exhausted from trying intervention after intervention without lasting results. Parents who are ready to understand why nothing seems to work and what's actually missing from their current healing plan. So in this video, you'll discover the crucial difference between nervous system repair and nervous system regulation, and why all those wellness practices keep falling despite your best efforts. So that perfect storm that creates a deep neurological dysfunction in our kids and is the missing foundation that makes everything else finally work 10 times better. So depending on what research you look at, here's some shocking statistics. Between 60 to 75% of US adults have at least one chronic illness, and the numbers are not much better in kids, with 40% or even more than 50% according to some research. Whether we're talking about chronic digestive issues, autoimmune disease, or neurodevelopmental challenges like autism, the rates of nearly everything have exploded in just a couple of generations. This means we can't simply blame genetics or better diagnostic criteria, but instead we have to put the blame squarely on where it belongs: a chronically stressful, chaotic, toxic, and over-medicalized environment and lifestyle. We see this pattern every single week in our office. Parents come in after trying everything. They've been to multiple specialists. They've invested in every therapy protocol and every program available. They see temporary improvements, maybe a few good weeks, but then everything resets. The anxiety comes back, the digestive issues flare up again, the developmental progress stalls. It's not that these approaches don't work, it's just that the problem runs deeper than that. Now let's get an understanding of the difference between the repair and regulation phase. So nervous system repair addresses the actual dysfunction within the nervous system itself, the interference and disruption caused by past trauma and accumulated stress that leads to something called subluxation and nervous system dysfunction. Think of it like repairing a faulty wiring in your home's electrical system. No matter how many 4K TVs or sound systems you try and plug in to make your house just more awesome, it just overloads that system further and eventually everything breaks down. So the problem is not with the equipment you're trying to add in, it's with the foundational power supply that needs to be repaired. So nervous system regulation includes practices that help an already intact nervous system shift into a calmer, more balanced state. Breathing exercises, yoga, meditation, cold therapy, supplements, and various wellness practices. So here's the critical distinction. Repair is fixing the engine. Regulation is learning how to drive it smoothly. You can take all the driving lessons in the world, but if the engine itself is broken, you're not going anywhere. Now let's talk about how the body keeps the score. And it's stored deeper than you think. According to The Body Keeps the Score, trauma isn't just processed and filed away in our minds. It's stored in the actual tissues, the structures, and the nervous system of the body, often far below our conscious awareness. So all of this is known as the somatic or neurospinal system. This is why you feel all the sorts of stress, whether from physical exertion, toxins, and chemicals, or long, stressful, and emotional days, how they get fully stuck in your neck, between your shoulder blades, in your low back, and other parts of your body. So when your body encounters overwhelming stress or trauma, it goes into protection mode. This is brilliant for survival in the moment, but that protective state can become locked in, creating patterns of dysfunction that persist long after the initial threat is gone. You simply can't talk your way out of trauma that's stored in your neurospinal system, in that brainstem, and in that vagus nerve. And similarly, you can't breathe away physical subluxation patterns that have been locked into your nervous system since birth trauma or early childhood stress. There's a fundamental principle in neuroscience. You can't be in growth and protection at the same time. So when your nervous system is stuck in that sympathetic dominant survival-orientated state, all the meditation and supplements in the world won't create lasting change. Now let's talk about how the perfect storm requires deep repair. So while we know modern life is super stressful for us as adults, what most parents and providers don't yet realize is how early the stress, the toxicity, and the medicalization of our current lifestyle starts even for our children. Most children today go through a series of stressors that create cascading neurological dysfunction. Prenatal stress when mom experiences high anxiety or takes certain medications, birth interventions like C-sections, forceps, vacuum, extraction, or induction that place profound physical strain on an infant's delicate brainstem and upper neck. So early childhood stressors compound the problem. Colic, reflux, and constipation aren't just normal infant struggles, they're early warning signs of nervous system dysfunction. So when these lead to frequent ear infections and repeated rounds of antibiotics, the damage deepens. Research shows that repeated antibiotic use in children under age 2 are significantly more likely to struggle with allergies, asthma, and gut issues later in life. So the level of stress and trauma most children experience locks in that neurospinal system into such a deeply stuck state that surface level interventions simply can't get through. It's not that other approaches aren't wrong. The dysfunction is just too severe for them to address on their own. Now let's get into why your regulation tools keep failing. So when subluxation creates constant interference in the system and the vagus nerve is dysfunctional from early trauma, regulation tools are like trying to change the thermostat when the furnace itself is broken. So now let's get into the clinical signs that repair must come first. So therapies and interventions don't stick or provide lasting results. Gut health protocols work temporarily, then plateau, constant relapses after periods of improvement, high reactivity to small triggers, and quickly resetting back to a stress state even after calming activities. So once the system is repaired and in a ready state, breathwork becomes more effective, supplements are better and absorbed and utilized, dietary changes create more significant impacts, and the body's innate healing capacity can finally activate. So nervous system repair opens the door for all those regulation tools to finally work as intended. Your family doesn't need more health hacks or surface level supplements. You need the right foundation. So through neurologically focused chiropractic care, we measure and restore nervous system function using advanced scanning technology and gentle, effective adjustments. We help release years of that built up stress and tension so your child's body or your own can finally shift from protective mode to healing mode. So click the link in our bio, comment below, or send us a DM to schedule with myself, Dr. Madeline Folsick, and Dr. Rhiannon Klaus at the Capital District Family Chiropractic team in Albany and Wetland, New York. Please share this video with anyone you know who needs to hear this, whether it be friends, family members, or people on Facebook. You can give our office a call at 518-599-0067 or visit our website for more information at cdfcchiro.com.